This is one of the worst trade ideas I've ever seen pitched by a real-life NBA analyst on TV. Now, just a little bit ago, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Kendrick Perkins said that Detroit had a lot of interest in Anthony Davis joining this team. Now, if his league sources are correct, this is one of the dumbest things that I've ever heard. So let's talk about this. I made a video very recently talking about a few places that Anthony Davis could get traded and whether or not I actually thought they made sense or not for the team trading for them. And I want to preface everything I'm going to say in this video by saying that Anthony Davis is a great player. He's always been a great player. I've always been very high on Anthony Davis, and I've never called him day-to-day Davis or whatever. I've always understood he has had injury problems, but when he is on the court, he's amazing. That being said, he is injury riddled. He has injury problems. Why would the Pistons trade for him? It makes no sense. But let's dive into it a little deeper. What are they saying? League sources are saying that they have interest in trading for him. Well, what's his value? What is he worth? According to Zach Lowe, pretty big guy in this space, it would take a few players and maybe a pick. I don't know if they would send over a pick. Obviously, he's a lot older. But from what I was reading was the max that they would send would be Tobias Harris, Ron Holland, Jaden Ivey, Beef Stew. Now for the Mavericks, this is a, out of the park level trade. If you traded away Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, you will never ever get the same value that Luka Doncic brings to your team, right? We can all agree on that. But if you could flip Anthony Davis, who, according to my notes, has only played 14 out of the 48 games that have been played since he joined this team, I would take that in a heartbeat if I was the Mavericks. But for the Pistons side of things, yes, Ivy got injured in his second to last preseason game of the season, if I'm not mistaken. And basically, most of last year, he was injured due to a pretty gruesome injury by some Magic player diving for the ball and just taking out his legs. I don't blame a casual NBA fan who does not watch the Pistons to throw Jaden Ivey into a trade like this for somebody like Anthony Davis. But for analysts to throw him in this trade makes no sense. He has a pretty high ceiling. As a second ball handler behind Cade Cunningham, who is not getting the defensive attention a superstar is getting, he will flourish. Cade has become so much better over the past year that Ivy has not played. He's getting doubles. He's getting the best defender every single night. The main focus of the offense and defense on him. Having another guy out there like Ivy, who a lot of people will be seeing for the first time, it's going to be great for him. Trading him away along with other key role players who I haven't even talked about yet makes no sense. Harris, you could lose Tobias Harris. He's been injured and they've been winning a lot of games. I'm a Pistons fan. They're 13-2 right now on an 11-game winning streak. He's been injured for quite a while now. It does not seem necessary that he needs to be on this team. If you want to use his salary to go out and get somebody better, maybe younger than him, you could do that. Not Anthony Davis. And even then, Harris means a lot to this team. If you watch the Pistons on a frequent occasion, he is a glue guy in this team. He steps in when there's issues, talks it out. He's a real vet that is kind of necessary on this team. Just recently, there was an altercation between Asar Thompson and Jalen Duren. Somebody missed a rotation or something like that, and they were bickering back and forth. Kind of like a friendly, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. He was in there. He was making sure it did not turn into anything crazy, and they listened to him. And what else are they trying to bring into this? Well, okay, first of all, the Detroit Pistons already have a top 5 defense in the league, and one of the best paint defenses. Bringing in Anthony Davis does make a little bit of sense when you think about that. He would bring this team to a, new level that we've never seen before in Detroit. He would be the Big Ben, quote unquote, of this newer generation of Pistons contenders. Contending? I don't know what the word is. I'm so mad right now looking at this trade. It makes me so angry. But we already have Beef Stew, one of the league's best blockers. And a lot of people think that Beef Stew is just this menace or whatever. They see the enforcer highlights. They see everything else, and they go, oh, this guy's not good at basketball. No, he's really good at basketball. And that's not even it. They also want us to throw in us. I'm not on the team. I'm not a manager of the team. I'm in Michigan in my room. They want to throw in Ron Holland, a top 5 pick recently. Now, I might be the biggest Ron Holland fan. Me and my girlfriend are the biggest Ron Holland fans probably in the world. I have a lot of faith. I give a lot of leniency to him. I think that he can be a great player. I would not throw him in a trade like this. I think Ron Holland can be I don't know if he would be starting, but he could be a 6th man of the year. He could turn into something great down the line. I don't know how long that will take, but I have a lot of faith that he will turn into the guy that I believe he can be on an NBA court. So other than none of these players being able to be traded, Detroit also they're never really a team that goes out and trades for a superstar, a star. Detroit's not a free agent, destination. They've always built their cores through the draft, or they pick them up when they're low and rebuild them. This goes against the Detroit motto. So let's backtrack. Let's talk about this all at once. They want to trade for Anthony Davis. Apparently, according to league sources, even Kendrick Perkins was like, I don't know how much validity this has. They want to trade for Anthony Davis. They would have to give up equal contract, maybe a pick if they're not going to throw in a young player like Ron Holland or like Jaden Ivey. So they aren't going to just throw in Stu and Harris and call it a day. No, they're going to have to give up one of our younger key players for a guy who has played 14 out of 48 games. How many games? What percentage of that? Let me look that up. What is that? 28%, 29% of games so far he has played. And he's still going to be out for a few more days with his injury that he's already suffered this season. This trade makes no sense. Let me know if I'm missing something. Let me know if I rate Anthony Davis a little lower than I should. Let me know if I overrate any Pistons players, but this makes no sense to me. I don't know why they would make this trade. If they make this trade, I will be upset with the Pistons front office. Here's one thing I haven't talked about. They would be getting back Klay Thompson, which would be cool. Another shooter on this team on the bench unit, kind of filling in that Malik Beasley role maybe. Again, they have Duncan Robinson, so that kind of position's already filled. Also, they have Javonte Green, who has been playing out of his mind. Also, they have Dennis Jenkins, who has been playing out of their mind. I want to make a Pistons video, but I just saw like 3 people post a Pistons video, and I haven't watched them, so I don't want to repeat topics. But this trade is stupid. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I'm overreacting. Peace.